because I didn't like the look of it. Okay, so anytime I've dealt with him so far, and I don't know the guy, if we've had a problem with it, he's come to compliance, okay? To me, before you get a state and start trying to mess with this mess, you could be opening up a hornet's nest that we might not want to do, okay? I think we try to get him in compliance and have him at next planning commission to address these issues with us. And if that doesn't work, then I think Brian is right on his path. But a guy that's investing money and time into buildings that don't have a whole lot of their use, I say we try to put out a little bit more of a glove one more time and get him into direction.
I kind of agree with it, because it would also, I don't want to say, it would also, not look like we were going behind his back, by calling the state. Just call him up, say, please address our issues at the next meeting.
And if not, we will address it with the state.
That might be the better step, initial step anyway.
I can only tell you that I've had enough conversations with him that I believe he has no intention of changing. But we can bring it back in.
Well, my opinion is either bring it back in or notify the state, one or the other.
Well, he doesn't have to come back in here. He doesn't have to come back in.
The pool hall's gonna, I'm not gonna tell you right now, as far as business, we all know business, I mean, the pool hall's gonna fail, so you're gonna try to sell play tables and a little bit of food, and we're gonna sit with an empty building again. I mean, he's gonna, to make that building work and that facility work, my opinion is he's gonna have to get an A1C 3PO permit or whatever, and produce beer.
Well, at the end of the day, that's fine.
But
I think that's what he wanted right from the very beginning.
And so be it, but right now, if you say to the planning commission that you're not going to do something, and that you're gonna withdraw, you should. It's that simple.
I don't think he knows. He doesn't, from my understanding of this guy, he's never run businesses or restaurants, or never run restaurants and breweries before. I don't really think this guy knows. And again, I don't know him from Adam, okay, I really don't. But he didn't, to me, he didn't seem like a restaurateur that really knows what he's doing and to run a business plan like that. So, I mean, it.
Okay.
Let me just make this statement. In our history, Birdfish and Sundog, and now Mr. Lama have come to us and said, we want to do this. We want to do this in our community. We want to have an A1C operation, and we discuss it and deliberate it, and we say, good, or, not so, we make some decision. And that was specifically, it just seems like now we're dealing with a situation where somebody's trying to go around us, and I think we need to be very definitive. My concern is that we need to be very definitive in the process taken by these folks, like everybody previous, that we were aware of it and we approved it.
I agree, right from the very beginning.
Right.
It's been.
Yeah, for me, I don't, if he would have day one said, I wanna, I mean, he didn't have food, he didn't have any of the stuff in there, and it's changed 3 times. And my personal opinion was that whatever he requested to do, I personally told him, do the wing one, do the wing restaurant, show us that it works. And before you would ever consider going to the pool hall. And he agreed, and that's why he withdrew it. So, I mean, to change after the fact and then still proceed,
Well, what bothers me is if he proceeded with going to the state, but he changed it to us.
Well, he went to the state before he came to us, which is fine. I mean, most people do.
Right. Okay.
But whenever you run into issue with the planning commission, to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to withdraw, and then not,
right,
is where I now have a problem. It would, if everything would have been up front, so be it. Or if he would have withdrawn and actually withdrawn, so be it. But to say one and do another is now why I'm having a public discussion about it. So if you want to maybe reach out
There is a cancellation request that can be filed with the Ohio Department of Liquor Control.
And it was
It's
not.
available online.
And he didn't do it.
It is available, so if someone decides midstream they don't want a permit, they can't cancel the application at any time.
Also, Mark, you get the money back, $1,000, so you get.
Right.
Back, so the legal doesn't actually cancel it, you return this money.
Maybe, if you guys wanna talk to him, maybe make a motion that we send him a letter requesting it, discussion, but the state will proceed with the license, by the time he comes in a month from now, they have it.
But the state's gonna give it no matter what.
Pardon?
The state's gonna pretty much give it no matter what.
The state is going to proceed as basically, the state's gonna look at the procedure that he's following as any application that they look at. They will then look at look at basically, does everything come back the way it's supposed to? Does every check? Does the fingerprinting come back? Does everything come back within the boundaries of the law? And if it does, then they can issue the permit.
Well, will they? I mean, it would seem to me, if I was giving out a liquor, in Columbus, I would want to make sure that everything was pretty much on the up and up before I gave that approval. Now, maybe our letter would not make any difference, but I'm thinking that it might carry some weight if somebody is genuine and taking their job seriously, that they might consider not giving it to them. Or if something else is just kind of questionable, then maybe our thing would make it more
It's
questionable.
not like this manufacturing pretty much is the Wild West though right now. I mean, it's pretty much, you turn some paper in, give us out.
Yeah, but you know what, if
You don't have to,
nobody
but usually
is going to,
Process for the whole.
if nobody's going to
For
take
the
the time
is about 3 months.
to at least try to stop it,
My-
then what,
My concern isn't the brewing license.
oh, I agree.
My concern is, telling myself and the commission that he was wrong, and they're not. I mean,
That's your sticking point.
that's black and white.
That's, so, I mean.
But if he didn't produce, if he never produces, he's never come in violation of what he told us.
I'm confused. You had said that he was applying for an A1C, he was gonna drop that, but he's gone back now and he's trying to get a retail license.
No, that's for the wing restaurant.
Oh, that's for the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So he's applied for, my understanding, he applied for A1C licenses for both locations. And then,
Manufacturing?
yeah, and a beer and wine liquor license for the wing restaurant.
One restaurant I thought might have been D5, I don't have it printed on.
So we approved it as A1C, but he's applied for a different license. So at both locations, he's applied for something different than he told us. That's my concern.
Yeah, the D is not just manufacturing.
Right.
I mean, that's basically liquor's permit for sale.
Unfortunately, in the Facebook world, it's a complication where people talk about things that they don't really understand the permits, and it's just, the A1C does not require city. I came because I want to be inclusive.
Right.
But really, someone doesn't have to with city approval, they can just put it in.
No.
Well, public doesn't know that.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, and so are they.
But the public is not, and, you know, Mr. Lalonde has a very good point, and I think that the public does need to understand, when I say that it's a different landscape, yeah, it is, because the public body has no say the local public body has no say over the state granting an A1C license. Up to them completely. We have nothing to say about it. We can say whatever we want. They'll go ahead and do it if the requirements are met. Now, the D licenses, you're right, that's different. That's a whole different ballgame. Then you're supposed to be in a location that allows the sale.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, because it becomes a site specific with the A1C, if then the state looks at that other license differently. Because it's already been granted a site specific. I don't know the law at all, I'm just thinking out loud.
The A1C should be treated by the state differently than the B license should be. But
I just wanted my displeasure noted on the record that I was told one thing and something else has happened.
Let me say this a different way. We had some people come in today and talk about doing a meat market. You asked him the question, are you gonna actually butcher the animals on site? And he said, no, I'm not gonna butcher the animals on site. My point being, he answered that question. If we find out 6 months later, he's butchering animals on site, we can say that he really violated the site plan review process, but we approved because we based it on that question. So my point being, if somebody says, I want to have a business in town, and it requires an A1C license, then we ask that question, you go, yes, I'm gonna have an A1C license if I'm Mr. Lalama, and he said, no, I'm not gonna do, the other case, he said no. So what is I wanna make that connection.
Do you have the power to shut him down if that's the case?
Pardon?
Do you have the power to shut him down if that's the case?
That's the question. Brian was very good, he asked them a question, and they said one thing, and now they're coming and saying, well, we don't care what the planning commission approved, we're gonna do something totally different, we're gonna butcher cows, right there in the back lot.
But there's a difference in this, he's applying for a license to butcher cows and actually have butchered the cow, okay? And I think this gentleman needs to be reached out to and says, you know what, you need to come and be forthright with what you're doing in these two locations, and if you don't do that next time, by next planning commission, we'll withdraw our support, okay, and let the liquor control board know our opinions on stuff. Anything I've ever done is you have to give a person the ability to correct it, one time, okay, let's give him the ability to correct it, and if he refuses to correct it then, okay, like when I yell at my kids, I'm much quieter the first time, by the third time, I'm literally the neighbors again. Okay, let's give this guy one more shot, because he hasn't produced anything yet, he hasn't actually done it, he's not selling beer out of it, he's not doing
No, but the licenses have been applied for, correct? I mean, we have notified.
And they had in planning commission, we knew that, and then that's when Mr. McBain brought it up and said, essentially, that it hasn't been withdrawn yet.
No, but it's a different license that we've received for the weed place than for what we approved.
Correct.
He told us it was a brewing facility.
Right.
He applied for a license to resell. So, as long as it's noted, and from a municipal attorney standpoint, we can take action if a site plan is not being, used for what we've approved it for. I mean, I would think that if we approve something as a pool hall, and it starts operating as a brewery without coming back in front of us, that's one thing. If we approve a wing restaurant and a brewery, and it turns into a resale bar establishment, that's not what we approved it for.
That's my point.
So, I think from a discussion standpoint, it would be good maybe for our next meeting, if Attorney Hudson, if you could let us know how that works from a legal standpoint. If a site approves something.
can you go back and then basically, since what you're saying is the use of the property has changed,
Yeah.
does that allow you to reopen the entire permit?
There you go.
You're gonna have a hard time with that, if you really come to fight, because you have a brewery that across the street. You're gonna, when you, I know, but when you really start digging into that stuff and try to really, I mean, that's gonna be a hard one to, when you get a bunch of lawyers and a bunch of fighting, it's gonna be a hard one to battle, because it.
I'll look into it, I'll be happy to look into that very question to see if we can actually look at the zoning or planning ordinance a second time. That's really what you're saying, because if one site, if you've given approval, can you then,
Change the use.
if the use has really changed, can you then deny approval? Good question.
You can ask
Well,
me,
I
but
think so.
I have no idea. I just wanted the body to know that what we were asked and what we voted on was not what was submitted after the
And
fact.
so what Tucker's saying is a good thing, we ask him to come to the next meeting and discuss it.
Cause my opinion is, I think he's gonna act. I think he's foolish not to ask
As for
what he should have asked for in the first place. I mean, I saw this coming. I saw, and I don't know the guy, just saying that if you're gonna do this, and you're gonna have this, you're gonna be across the street from this, and you're gonna have this and this and this, you should produce your own beer.
But this isn't producing your own.
No, but that's a completely different animal. That's why he has to go through voting and precinct and some wet, some dry wet. Now, that's,
He's come to us to approve it as a brewery.
right, but to get to sell beer that he doesn't produce there, he's got a huge amount of hurdles to go through.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
I'm
worried about
not even worried about that one.
I'm not worried about
That's a voting whole process precinct nightmare.
I just think when somebody changes the site, it's the use. It comes down to the use. What we approve to use a facility for, and then it changes without our knowledge.
Exactly.
And
It doesn't have to be this instance. It could be any instance.
that's right, that's right.
Any business comes and says, I wanna put a mechanic shop in, and the next day it turns into a junkyard. We didn't approve it to be a junkyard.
Right, exactly.
It's happened.
Well, we give him one shot to correct it. And that doesn't follow through. I mean, that's exactly what we did the junkyard guy. We had a problem with him, we gave him a shot, and he stepped up and
I
corrected it.
have no problem with that, but I think he needs to come before this body.
I agree.
Do we need to make that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we formally request him at the next meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion second. Any, further discussion on the motion?
Well, I suggest that he brings his plan on both the facilities.
Might be a good idea.
I mean, what his direction is on the facility. Besides just being here, you've already had him here once, and haven't got the answer we want. Okay, we wanna know what.
So we were given the answers that he told us were accurate.
Okay, so we need to change the motion. I mean, he's saying now he needs to bring us his plan. Does that come with that?
I don't think, I mean,
Kind of contradictory of what we approved in the first one, then if we do that.
yeah. I maybe just need to bring him in and have a conversation.
That's very neat.
Okay. Any other further question on the motion? Deanne, call the roll.
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is commission comments. Anybody up here want to speak first? Anybody have anything to say? The only statement I want to make is someone who came before us with a plan and built a building, and I won't say who, did ask, about what was happening with the discussion about changing going possibly with the Mahoney County building department instead of the state of Ohio. This particular person who spent a lot of money in Columbiana building said it was really a nightmare dealing with the state of Ohio with getting permits, and asked, you know, and I know we had that discussion before. I'm just throwing out here, do we want to consider that at all? And this is totally out of my bailiwick, but,
I did order, I called them probably the next day, spoke to them.
Who?
I can pull out.
You mean Mahoney County?
Yeah.
That's your
last
deal?
time, the last time, that you guys spoke about it, I don't remember when it was, if it was the spring of 17, maybe?
What?
Or was it the spring, it was, when did you come on? I can bring in a note.
Well, then, the other good thing I wanna pay attention to, and Rick will do a video, is Salem is also looking to bring in a third party, it's in the paper recently, a third party building inspection company. I don't know if you've been following that at all, Lance? You might wanna reach out to Salem and see what Salem is doing for the commercial construction.
Commercial construction.
Right, they recently have a third party coming in that handles that paper, that aspect. And I think they've had a second or third meeting over in Salem about it. And I don't know the inspection company, I really don't understand that, but that might be another avenue we may wanna look at, what Salem's doing.
So we can do some research for the next meeting.
There's, talk a little bit, universal percussion, I know has been up for sale. And the good thing to know at the time, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of people looking at that property, and all those properties out there. That Columbiana is a good value for, industrial property, commercial property. And we do need to look closer at our industrial park. What's going on in Latonia, from what I've been told, and we have some involvement in it, that Latonia Industrial Park will be full, or will probably be sold within a year, if not sooner. And there's no more property there. So there is no, if you're looking to build commercial, industrial construction, there's not a whole lot of property out there right now. And especially around here in the four-wheel drive, it's slowing down. There might be some more additional property that the city can look at purchasing, whatever phase 2 is. Because I've had a gentleman call me from out of state, as far as the value of Columbiana property and how it is currently valued.
Good comments, good comments. Any other comments up there?
I'll be quick, but as it relates to the brewery discussion as a whole, it may not be a popular opinion, but I think that it's a good thing. I think that it as a whole, is a very good thing for Columbiana, both on Main Street as well as the peripheral areas. I know with what Tom has done, it doesn't hurt to be known for entertainment in a day when commercial retail type business is struggling because of competition with the internet, to have a draw. And I think that if you have a couple of nice, classy places, people will want to come. I think they'll want to spend time in town, and it's a reason to come. I think when they're here, they're going to visit a butchery shop and take something home. I think that they're going to go down to Hogan's and take. They're not coming here to party. I mean, I don't know of any police issues that we've had on Main Street so far. I do think that it's a mindset change, but I think that it is here to stay, and I know other communities are starting to model what we're doing. And Canfield is actively looking to model themselves after what we're doing, both in the form of the DORA legislation and as well as trying to attract in what we already are getting. And though it's definitely different than antique stores that we're known for in the past, it is a draw that will bring people to town in the future. And when they're here, they will spend money and shop and do everything else. I think it's a good thing. So I appreciate the efforts that you're making. I know that there'll be challenges, both societal and otherwise. But I think that in the long run, an entertainment draw in the community is a good thing.
Well,
believe it or not, if you're gonna draw people coming in for craft beer, you're gonna draw a higher level person. They don't drink a lot of beer, but they drink what they consider to be good beer. They pay a premium for it. Cleveland has, a craft beer show, if you will, every year. And they draw thousands of people. In fact, they have 2 different levels of tickets, so that you can get in early and do, there's money everywhere. It's unbelievable. This isn't a bar. This is a real upscale business.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, with all of the breweries, the ones approved and the ones that have been submitted for approval. I think the more that we have, as long as they're operated in a good way, it is a strong draw and a reason for tourism and everything that goes along with it.
Birdfish is already bringing in tour buses. They've already had tours coming here.
Yep.
Just for Birdfish.
Yeah, they created like a brewery trail, like with other local breweries.
Gotta support it with good cuisine though, too.
Yeah.
I see, and I watch real estate transfers and stuff in town, and that to stay downtown Columbiana, you're gonna need to have this type of beer and this type of entertainment, because there's a large company at the end of Columbiana that's gonna eventually, that takes up a lot of Main Street, that's eventually gonna move out of there, okay, and they're gonna go build their own place. I'm not talking about, but there's a large end of Main Street that's gonna be vacated one of these days. And if we draw people downtown with breweries and other stuff like that, those empty lots may eventually get built on. There's just, somebody just bought some more properties, that's gonna happen. I don't know personally, I can just follow what's going on. If we have this draw downtown, then it'll get industries and people to build and keep the downtown growing. Because it is known as a place to go. That's kind of why the bowling alley got bought, because a friend of mine asked me about it, and I said, oh, yeah, it's a good place. If you're gonna do real estate and have some property and stuff like that, you get a little bit around here, and it'll slowly take off.
Okay, next, you people have been so kind to sit out there and listen. This is the public comment time on the agenda. Anybody want to share out there on anything that we talked about tonight or anything else? Tom?
Just to the point made, this weekend, we'll put maybe an advertisement, if you'll bear with me a moment, but where we're having a fundraiser for Way Station. We have 2 great bands Friday and Saturday night. We have a big TV screen for football. And I'm really anxious to see if we don't get blasted by the hurricane. We'll have a lot of people out there, and hopefully they'll shop in our stores. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're describing.
In the music event you had with the Beatles band, I mean, for anyone that has come to council or planning commission with concerns of the Dora, I wish they would have been there, because it was open, container, confined within there. I don't think we had any issues whatsoever. There were thousands of people there. Do you have any idea of head count?
At least a couple thousand.
Yeah, and
The only problem we had several hundred women that we weren't sure if they really understood that those weren't the real Beatles. When the picture taken with the hat, that was the only problem.
But that's what I'm saying, from the tourism draw, I mean, that was the first go out there with your new stage, and there were thousands of people there. So, I mean, if we can set this up right, and there will be mistakes along the way.
Well,
There will be.
how about the wine festival out there? Same thing, right? Same thing, people are out there, driving crowds of people.
And no issues.
Not much. So, I think these are all really good comments, and we really need to work our way through them, but I think it was a good discussion tonight, and,
Growing pain.
yeah,
Growing pain. Yeah.
people love to have our problems, seriously. Any other public comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
We talked about the two-way street last time, and we were gonna look at it during street fair, about, do they change it to a one-way?
Elm Street and Vine Street.
Yeah, how we were talking about changing it back to a one-way. Has anybody talked about that?
Yeah.
I brought that up, and I took some pictures also, because during the street fair, it was parked in one direction, and I have some pictures, I'm gonna get with Lance, but it really showed there was a lot of space and there was a lot of spots, and it's still, so I'm gonna bring that into Lance. Yeah.
You think we ought to continue to pursue that? Is that what you're saying, sir?
I do.
It's, you know, just spending time down in here, I think it just makes sense to go, you know, it's easier to flow, it's easier to just navigate than trying to squeeze two cars and.
I almost got hit just yesterday, and it's common that someone pulls out coming from like Hogan's side, crossing, while you're waiting on someone else to try and turn out around a telephone pole. It seems like every time I go down there, there's a situation.
Good point.
So you're recommending running it from Vine Street?
I would recommend that way, and in thinking about police and the emergency systems to be able to get out. Not just that, but I think it flows best that way.
You would,
council,
I'm just saying, that's why it hasn't come back here yet.
Yeah.
It will go to the next.
Yeah, I was just.
Good point. It's just coming
I
up.
actually took some pictures so that, we can see it lined up with cars on that side.
Is there any other questions or comments? We've kept you here for a long time tonight. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
We'd have made it to 9 o'clock, we'd had pizza, but.
I got something else I'd like to talk about.
Hearing no other comments, I move to adjourn. So move.